If you're a coach and you're not too sure on your target market, on your niche, then this episode is for you, because this is a question that we get all the time. I think nearly daily, if I could be perfectly honest. And it is something that can absolutely crush your business. So whether you're starting from scratch and you're trying to figure out what's my niche, what's my target market, and you want to build a successful online coaching business, or if you've been in the game for a little while and now you're starting to hesitate, you're questioning, you're not too sure if you got it right the first time, you're gonna want to stick with us in this episode, because this is one of the easiest things to solve that we can do really quickly, but it's also, if something you haven't nailed from the beginning, you could be wasting all of your efforts, all of your time, all of your money that you're investing moving forward, because you're gonna have to rip it all down and start over again. So if you're cool with that, let's avoid that and let's actually get your business doing something that you really want to be able to do. And so I just want to start this off with 4 things that is really the right business plan. That is what you need when it comes to your coaching business. Now, when I say business plan, I'm not thinking about, do you mean this 35-page document that so many people recommend? I'm thinking about something we can condense into like 1 page, and like, what's the model that you're doing? So when you think about your coaching business right now, the first thing we're going to answer is you doing your business, the people that you're serving and how you're serving them, how you're selling, how you're marketing, doing all that stuff. Is it actually going to be high net profit? Are you actually going to earn the money that you want at the end of the day? Secondly, you've got to ask yourself, is it easy to sell? Is it frictionless selling? Are you going to be able to easily sell it? Thirdly, is it enjoyable? Do you actually enjoy doing it, so therefore you're not going to get drained doing it? And then fourth, is it sustainable? Is this something that you can actually do for the long term? Okay, so you've got to ask yourself right now, pause for a second and be like, out of those 4, are you ticking all 4 of those boxes? Can you see all 4 of those happening? Because if you can't, then, okay, we need to make some fixes, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just, we need to fix what's happening in the actual business as well. What do you think about that?
If it doesn't, I want to really hammer that home. If it does not check all 4 boxes, do not do it. You will build resentment for yourself and the people you're claiming you're trying to help. Yes. It has to, do not compromise on this. I want to just tell you right now, it's got to check all 4 of those, because if you have 3, but not the profit one, what is this, a charity? No, you're running a coaching business. Treat it like that. So all 4, if you have pen and paper, literally write those, play this back, listen to that again, have 4 boxes, and as we help you determine your market by the end of today's video, if you cannot check off all 4, it ain't happening, boss.
I completely forgot as well. Also, if we're just meeting for the first time, hi, I'm Chris Dufay. I'm the CEO and founder of Coach.
And I'm the director of delivery at the Coaches Cartel, where I yell at people all day. It's because I love you, though.
I really wanted to share this episode with you, because this is a question we get all the time. I completely forgot to actually introduce ourselves in this episode. Now you know who the hell we are. So the second part of this is us being able to actually figure out who you want to serve. So you picking the model, and now we've got to really get clear on who you want to serve. Now, a lot of the time, if you're Googling, YouTubing, trying to find the answer, a lot of people out there are going to be talking demographics, right? And someone's going to come to, oh God, I hear this all the time. I kind of want to throw up at the same time. But it's, oh, I coach males between 25 and 34 that earn $60,000 to $120,000 a year, that are left-handed with red hair and like Pokemon. I don't know, but like, we don't need to go into that. I think people get way too off the wrong path. And so there's 2 things that we need to solve really easily. This is what we do when a member comes to us. This is how we can solve it quickly. Number 1, what is the result that your client wants to achieve? Number 2, what are they interested in? Okay, just using those 2, we can start to pinpoint. If you think of the diagram, the 2 circles and they're overlapping, this is the information that we can start from, so we can get a rolling start. Especially if you're starting off, if you're trying to find out who your target market, who your niche, however you want to say it is, then this is only really going to come through movement, through momentum. And we want to be able to make sure that we're in the right direction. And just like how a plane going from Sydney to LA, most of the time is actually off track and they need to constantly be getting back on track. It's the same process that we're going to do now. But we need to make sure we're heading in the right direction, because, do you know what I mean, if we're running east looking for a sunset, we're never going to get there at the end of the day. So when it comes down to number 1, what are the results that you want to be able to get? Number two, what are they interested in? We also need to talk about one thing that we have to nail in this, and this is something really important. It comes down to mimetic desire, to get really technical, but I don't want to go down that path. This is actually something where, okay, what's the most common target market you've heard recently?
Josh, starting my coaching business, excited about it, want to come hang out in Bali with you and Chris, man, excited about it. I want to work with busy professionals.
Okay, so the two things we hear a lot is people wanting to work with busy professionals because they just go, those people have money and they are going to be able to pay for my services. Or we hear something like, or another thing, and we hear this like from 20-year-old dudes being like, I want to help women middle-aged lose weight.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest like weight loss market. Okay, so what we're trying to get at is don't make this decision based off the market and their ability to spend money or what they are spending money in the actual solution finding, okay? Yes, you want to make sure your market does have money, okay? Now, if someone said, do you mean like my market's like freshmen's, right? You could be like, okay, well, they don't have a lot of money, but we know a lot of people that are still actually got ludicrous businesses that are serving those people, okay? So I just want to make it really clear before we go any further. Please don't make the decision because you're judging someone on how much money you think they have and how much you think they're going to spend. It is a small slice of the pie, but it's not the whole pie, because what we really want to get to is who is it that you really want to serve?
100%. I've got a really cool story on this. Can I share a story literally from yesterday? So I'm talking with, shout out to Michael from Australia. Dude, it's great to reconnect with you and I look forward to working with you. He's a new guy joining the cartel. He was really concerned about this, and within 10 minutes of me talking to him, here's the rundown on Michael. Great dude, young dude, ambitious, Australian guy. He's gonna win. He just has all of those character traits that you know winners have. But he's got one arm. He goes, Josh, dude, I'm not like all these other two-armed people out there. Like, am I gonna be able to do this? And I go, bro, how many one-armed, cool coaches do you see on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn? Like, yes, it might be a smaller piece of the pie, but that also probably means there's no competition. And you could completely dominate that sector. So by the end of the call, he's like, dude, I'm ready to rock. This is awesome. I'm gonna go help all the other one-armed people in the world. It was so cool to see that. But I also wanna mention this. Do not pick the market that you see some guru telling you to pick. Do not do this out of obligation. Do this because you really want to help a certain type of person. And look no further than probably yourself 5, 10, 15 years ago when you went through your own fitness journey. The only way the content gets anyone ever to join your group, to sign up for a lead magnet, to sign up for a body transformation session. The only way anyone will ever go from being a stranger on the internet to becoming a client and giving you green freedom paper. The only way that ever happens is if this whole process is genuine and authentic. You cannot fake your way to success with this stuff. Because I tried changing my market as often as I changed my underwear. And yes, that was every day. Because I know people are wondering at home how often I changed my underwear.
So, this is funny. When Josh first started as a client, like, dude, as you can see, great dude, but he had bright, shiny object syndrome really badly. And I felt like I had to kick him up the backside so many times to keep him aligned. And you were chasing one thing because he was like, this is like a puppy dog. But what happened once you got clear and you just got like disciplined?
I quadrupled my business within 90 days and cut my time working in half. Sales became easy. People actually were vibing with the content now. Everything started working. Go figure.
Yeah, go figure. So an important part of what Josh was saying before, and I just really want to highlight this for you, is ensuring that you're doing it because you really want to help them. I think that's just a genuine part. If you're starting from there, it does help the process because it does become sustainable. It does become joyful, like a part of those, what I was saying at the beginning of this episode. And you actually know how to help them. You know who they are. Like if you're a young 20s guy and you want to help postpartum women be able to lose weight and you've never had anything to do with a woman that's been pregnant before, you don't have the empathy, you don't have the history, you don't have the knowledge or wisdom so that you can connect and best help with them. So typically what happens, and this has just been my story, typically it's as entrepreneurs as well, we solve the problems that we have. So for me, I was really overweight as a kid. I learned to lose the weight. That is what inspired me to become a personal trainer, because then I want to help other people go through that transformation. I ran a really crappy personal training business in Sydney. I then learned to be able to run a great business. I then wanted to help other people grow a great business. I then went online. I had a really crappy online business when I first started, and then I built an amazing online fitness business. Then I got asked by so many other coaches, how do you do this? Which then got me to here. Then I had a life that I didn't really love. Then I have another life that I really, really love. Now I help people be able to do that as well. So for me, it's just been a simple process. I had a problem, I learned to solve it, and then I help people be able to solve that process as well. Typically, that's really what happens.
Well, you're able to go through that process because you look inward, not outward.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. When you're taking advice from some guru just because, and you're like, all right, well, this is my marketing message now, or these are the platforms I'm going to post on, and this is how I'm going to set up my coaching. You're looking outward. I want to let you know that you should probably trust yourself a little bit more, and you probably already have, if not the answers, the direction at least that you should go in. You already have that inside of you. Stop looking outward, look inward.
That's a really good point. Okay, so let's actually make this practical, helpful, useful. In the comment below, please put in who is your target market. So literally put into the comments below who's your target market. We would love to be able to hear from you. And if you have questions, because if you can't articulate it really clearly, well then that's great. We can jump in and we can help and we can make sure that you can get really clear on it, because then you can do the things such as creating content, getting leads, making sales, building out the coaching, scaling the business. But it just doing a key important part is making sure that we can do this first.
100%.
All right, comment below and then we'll be able to get in touch with you, and we'll also see you in the next episode.